Hi, I'm here today with Stephanie Kiser, and Stephanie is the Director of Rural Health and Wellness at the Asheville campus of the UNC School of Pharmacy, and she is a clinical assistant professor. But that is not why she's here today, and it's not why she's speaking at the Medipreneurs meeting. Stephanie and I used to work together. In fact, she was my boss. And as an intrapreneurial team, I think we were pretty much unstoppable. So, that is why she is here today. And I want to spend some time talking to Stephanie about the things that she did as an intrapreneur and some of the things maybe that we did together. But I miss her dearly as my boss, although being my own boss is kind of fun as well. But Stephanie, thank you for taking the time to be here with me today.
Oh, I'm excited. And yes, I would agree that as an entrepreneurial team, we were unstoppable.
So what would you say, and you can go all the way back in your career, what would you say has been your favorite intrapreneurial project that you've worked on?
Yeah, so there is a long list of those. It was kind of fun to reflect on that and think about those. But I think the one where I felt like I really was hitting my stride, and it has continued even, beyond my presence there, I would pick the wellness program that we started while we were at Mission Health. And the reason I select that one is because it did take a little while to get people sort of gathered around the conversation of, well, why do we need a wellness program? And why does it matter to our workforce to have a wellness program? Why does it matter, in terms of helping them manage their own health, or even how does it impact our patient care? And so all those questions had to be addressed, because you're talking about a very large health system who, again, healthcare costs were rising for them. When we worked together, we were managing our disease management programs, and it really came down to this for me, and that was, you're paying us to take care of people when they have a disease. Wouldn't it make a lot more sense if we moved upstream a little bit and you actually paid us to do work with these folks to help them prevent the occurrence of the disease? And so that was what I really had a lot of passion about. I've actually brought that passion with me in my new role over here at the school. And I see that I feel that I'm upstreaming even further, because I'm working with students and really talking to them about, well, how are you incorporating wellness and balance into your life? And one day you're going to be a very busy provider of care. And how are you going to take care of yourself? Because you cannot adequately care for patients if you're not caring for yourself. And so those are some of the pieces and parts. And I think the other part of that was the incredible connectedness that I had with people across the organization when we were working in the wellness program. There's a plethora of stories of how that program, as simple as it was, truly impacted people in positive ways. You started up the very first menopause class and some of that work that we were doing in that space. And think of what's happened with that and how that's sort of grown beyond anything I think we could have imagined.
Oh, yeah. And, it wasn't like we just woke up one morning and the wellness program came to life a week later. So,
oh, no.
And we had pharmacists and nurses who were really excited about it. And so that was like preaching to the choir as far as, the need for it and the benefit of it. Can you talk a little bit about the different ways you had to talk to the people at the top to be able to get them to buy into that?
Yeah, and I think this is a key element of being an intrapreneur. I'll talk more about this at the conference, but it really is, you've got to understand the language of your audience. And those languages change as you move across an organization. Sitting across from someone and trying to encourage them and motivate them about their health is one language. You're trying to connect with that person in a soulful way to get them to commit to caring for themselves. When you're talking to folks you're going up that food chain and you're sort of at that sort of C-suite, you need to understand what drives their decisions.
Right.
And that is work on your part. You've got to form the relationship, but you really have to ask some of those honest questions. And fortunately for me, I had an opportunity with the chief financial officer to say what drives the decisions around how we change things within our health benefits plan. What do you need to see? And it was a combination of I don't need to see costs rise in terms of how can you do it
Mm-hmm.
with existing resources. Sometimes that's a challenge, but you have to get creative. And then I'd also really like to see some savings in terms of how is it impacting over time some of the costs associated with individuals. And it may not be that I could have shown them that and that actual data, in my hands at that time, but I had to do research. I had to look and see what's out there in terms of best practices. We had to pull that together and present that in a comprehensive way. And it really is being a translator. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what the passion is and you know what you're trying to accomplish. But how do you translate that so that people at all varying levels become excited and engaged and want to be a part of it?
Well, and I think the point you make about speaking the language is really important, and that's one of the reasons that we put together the C-suite selling tool as a free offer on the website, was for people who did have big projects that they wanted to accomplish, so that they'd have a checklist so that they could just basically go through and say, okay, what is the CEO's objective here, and what's the COO's objective, and who do I need to talk to, and make sure that you cover all the bases. So if anybody's interested in that, they can download it off of Medipreneurs.com and get that for free. So that's a nice little bonus that we have for people on the site. So I want to hear what excites you most about the Medipreneurs Conference.
Yeah, so, I sat sort of with these questions as you just sort of sketched them out. And what I started feeling inside was just honestly being, I think, with a group of, I know we may have mixed company, but being, predominantly with people who have an interest in creating something new or something different. And really, I guess the takeaway is people who aren't satisfied with the status quo. And so often, I think as healthcare providers, we're in environments where it honestly just feels like the status quo is just the way to go, because it keeps you off the radar and it keeps you out of trouble. And, you just go through each day. But I can't get excited about that. That's not who I am internally. I forever, throughout my entire career, have always been someone who, in the back of my mind, I've said, was there a way that we could do this a little differently or better? I mean, you remember that.
I think you and I sort of have that in common.
Yeah. And so I think being at a conference where that energy is present, one, I know that's going to be very nourishing for me personally, but then I think also of the connection that we'll make with individuals who are creating new things and innovative things. I always like to imagine the what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name what is possible. I just know that this being at this conference with the energy and intention that has been put behind it, and I think the draw of the individuals that will attend, I think it's going to be powerful. Just to be there is going to be a powerful experience.
Well, and we've got registrants from all across the board of practice at this point. So we're really excited about the quality of the people that are coming and the level of interest and excitement that we have. And I'm just so excited to let people get together to share ideas. I was in a Facebook group this morning. It was the Pharmacist Moms group. I don't know if you've been in that one, but there was a conversation about how corporate is just, horrible to people, and pharmacists feel like they're replaceable, and retail is just, not a happy place to be. And you know what? At some point, you got to get out of the victim mentality and say, I have a lot of skills. How can I use those skills to take care of people and to also create the kind of work and professional life that you want to have? So that's what we're offering at the conference, I think.
And I would say amen to that. And I would say that I am a liver of that path in terms of I have a walker. I'll say I'm a walker of that path. It's been a lot of twists and turns to get to where I am currently. And I know the future has other opportunities I haven't even thought of yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the most powerful experiences for me about 3 years ago was recognizing I wasn't living my values. I wasn't leveraging my strengths. And I really realized the only person that was going to make a difference in that was me.
Right.
It took a while to get there. I mean, we all have responsibilities. We have bills to pay
Yeah.
and families to take care of. But when you really recognize you're not living your best self, to imagine what that could be, I think that becomes a pretty wonderful idea to try to cling to and move forward. You've done that. You've lived that. And I think this conference is for those folks to hear those stories, to share those stories of their own journeys, and to also help others imagine what that might be for them.
Well, and it's so much fun. Like on LinkedIn, I'll be on there and I'll just stumble across all these pharmacists that are doing really neat things. And so we actually have somebody from Canada who's running an organization called Pharmacists Without Borders. And I need to check into it a little bit more to see exactly what she does, but she's coming to the conference. So I was pretty excited to see that. So tell me what your most valuable lesson as an entrepreneur has been.
I would say that you have to be forgiving of yourself. And the reason I say that is being an entrepreneur, probably much like being an entrepreneur, you have to become comfortable with hearing no.
Mm-hmm.
You will hear no. It doesn't mean that your idea is dead forever. It doesn't even mean your idea is actually dead. It just means, okay, I have more work to do.
Right.
And how committed am I to this? Who else might be a partner, collaborator, encourager that could become a part of what I'm trying to accomplish to move this forward? And sometimes those are unlikely people you wouldn't have imagined. But it's that lesson of the no doesn't always mean you failed. It just means, okay, this shot didn't go. Let me go back. Let me do a little more work. Let me make sure I really have my package together and what I'm trying to accomplish together. And that takes time. Sometimes it's a year from that no to when you come back
right.
and present things. I mean, that's the other thing. It's the understanding and being patient and consistent as well.
Well, and it just means potentially not now.
Yeah, exactly. Not now. Okay. All right. I also call that my windows and doors analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, that door may close, but there's a window propped open around back, and let me go see if I can climb in.
Exactly.
Let me try that way, or let me see if I can jimmy the basement door. Just because you close the front door does not mean I'm gone.
It just means I'm coming in a different way. You and I were pretty good at that.
Yes, exactly.
The end run. Well, I really appreciate you being here with me today. It's been a lot of fun to talk to you and get some of your thoughts about entrepreneurship. And we're so looking forward to having you with us in April in Asheville. And I think that's it.
It's great. I'm equally as excited and just appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we will look forward to having you there.